Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. We're going to finish our look at Hangar 18 today, the epic guitar lesson tutorial for Hangar 18. So now we're getting to the section. I just basically played the first solo, picking up where we left off in the part 2 video. Now we start getting to the part where Dave Mustaine and Marty Friedman start kind of just really trading off solos. This first one that I just played, obviously, is Marty Friedman because it's all over the place. But it's really fun to play. So let me go through this phrase by phrase real quick. We're still in standard tuning. This first lick sounds like this. Alright, so it's kind of, a lot of stuff is really kind of sliding around a lot. So we're going to start with a slide up to the 7th fret on the G, roll over to 7th on the B, then 8, 10, 13, just shift it up there, and then to 10. So slide in there. Then we have this. So that's 10 on the high E to 14 on the B. So to that 14, then back to that 10. Then over to 10 on the B, 13, back to that 10. So we have this. Then you're going to reach up and play 14, 15, 14, 10. All together. From there, we're going to play 13, 10 on the B, and then do that again. But when you basically play 13, 10, and then pick 13 again, and slide to 10, pull off to 8, slide down to 7, then play 8, 7. So with this. Then a long bend at the 7th fret on the G to the 5th fret on the G. So we're in there. I might have done slide down, pull off, and then maybe do that again. Or just maybe go all the way down. All right, next phrase. All right, so that one's pretty cool. So we're gonna slide 7 into 7, 8, then 7 on the B, then 10, 9, 10, then 7, 8, 7, 8, 7 on the G. So that's a very odd lick. I'll play it just real slow. One more time. Then we're going to slide into the 15th on the high E string. Into 15, and then we're going to do a little diminished arpeggio here. It's 11 on the high E, 13 on the B, 14 on the G, to 11 on the G. And then we're going to do this. All right, so what's going on there? First, we're going to hammer on 12 to 14 on the G. Then that 13 on the B, up to 11 on the high E again. Then you're going to play those same 4 notes, except you're going to pick each one. So you're just not going to hammer on the first 2. You do. And then we have this. Then that's a quick little kind of hammer pull between 10 and 11 on high E. Then pick the 11 again, pull off to 10, over to 13 on the B, and then the 12th fret there with it's kind of bent up a half step with a lot of crazy vibrato on it. So altogether really slow. All right, now we have this nice little melody. All right, so you're gonna start here, 10th fret on the B, slide up to 13, pick it a couple times, pick it, then slide down to 12. Pick it a couple more times, up to 20, 19, back to 13. So we have this. All right, now we get to this crazy legato lick that actually does have a pattern to it for the first 3/4 of it. It sounds like this. All right, so that very end of it, there's a little definitive lick he does in there, but for the most part, he just kind of, and I've seen him, you know, do it live a few different times. And that little section, he does this part the same, little descending legato lick. But when he gets here, he kind of messes around for a couple of beats, and then he has that one little lick and he ends it. So that's how we'll learn it here. So we're going to start here with this. Now the pattern is this: you're going to do you're going to pick like 13th fret there on the B string, hammer on 15, pull back off to 13. So it starts with that little 3-note hammer pull, and then shift back, and then play 12, 13, 15. So it's a little 6-note lick, and he continues that down the scale. So the next one would be 12, 13, that little hammer pull, and then 10, 12, 13. So we have this. Then continue that same pattern down the scale. You're going to do now hammer pull between 10 and 12, then shift back to 8 and go 8, 10, 12. So we have this. And then the last one, you're going to play the little hammer pull between 8 and 10, and then shift back to 7, play 7, 8, 10. So it's just the same phrase. All right, now this is when he starts to mix it up. First he goes up between 7, 8, 10 on the high E, and then up to the 12th fret on the high E string. Now we just basically mess around with these notes: 10, 12, 8, 10, 12, 8, and then shift back down to 10, 8, 7. So it kind of really does like a, kind of descends through the scale down to 10, 8, 7 on the B. So it's just kind of really just a descending thing. Just 3 notes at a time. So out of this, and then here we have this little, now that's 7 on the B. This is a definitive lick that he does do at the end of it. So that's 7, 10 on the B, over to 10 on the high E. Now I pick that up, down, down, then back with an upstroke on the B. Into that, back to the 7th on the B, then to the 9 on the G, down to the 7. So slow. All right, now we're back to that riff. Now this ending, I've also seen it played like this when they play it live, but you go straight back to this riff, this new riff I'm about to show you guys here. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to jump all the way up it, but they do it some live. So you can play it here, or here, 10, 9 on the D, 12, 12, 9 on the A, and then just move everything up a fret. So I just wanted you to know that they'll play it both ways. All right, now we have that new riff, which sounds like this. So I'm just playing this: 3, 2, 0, then 2, 3, 5, 3, 2. Straight alternate picking. So just heavily palm muted, and then you're going to end it with sliding 2 to 3 on the power chord there 3 times. just work on that a little bit. And now we get to Dave Mustaine's first solo here. Now he really favors, and you'll see this, he likes kind of symmetrical licks, where he'll take the same basically fingering and just take it across strings. He has 3 solo spots in this song, and they all kind of do that. So the first one is kind of like this. All right, so what's going on there? We have 17, 16, 14 on the high E string. And he just tremolo picks it pretty much. Just kind of hanging on the top note, and the 17, and then going down to 16, 14. So we have this. He does that 5 times and then does it on the B string. That's what I mean. You take the same fingering and just move it over a string. And now when he gets down to the G string, he just, it's kind of he's still kind of doing the tremolo picking, but we have 16, 14 on the G string, then over to 16 on the D, and then you're going to grab the double stop here between 14 on the G and the B together, then back to the 16, then back to the double stop. So we have this. Now, all he does now is the same, comes back up 14, 16, and then the same, 16, 14, 17, 16, 14, but just reverse, going up. Just, then over to the high E string. And then we're going to go up to 16, 17, 19. He actually plays it like this. He doesn't use his pinky. And then bend to the 19th fret, pull off the 17. And then the bend again. So it's, the Dave Mustaine, the picking itself, the indications of the timing of all the notes, it's more erratic. It's just kind of just for an aggressive effect. So you just got to really kind of take the pattern across the strings. And then we're back to that riff. All right, then Marty Friedman comes back in with this solo. All right, so we're gonna start with a bend here at the 20th fret on the B string, whole step bend. Gonna release it. Then, what is that? 18, 21 on the G. A lot of vibrato there. Then back to the 18 on the G, and then a whole step bend to the 22nd fret on the high E string. Then pull off 21 to 20, back to the 21. All right, now we have one of the patented kind of disjointed Marty Friedman licks. So what's going on there? We're gonna pull off 14 to 10, and then 13 to 11. And then a big stretch again, 13, 15, hold on. And we go to 13, 15, down to 10 on the high E string. Then 13, 10 on the B, over to 13 on the G. So we have this. Now we start this little, kind of a blues lick really. That's 10, hammer on 13, pull back up to 10 on the B, over to 13 on the G. Now do that a few times. And then move it up to the 14th fret here. The first finger, it says you're just doing the hammer-ons on the 17th fret. Little pinch harmonic there on the 17th fret bend. All right, back to that riff. All right, now we get to Dave Mustaine's. Now this lick requires a really large stretch. So let me just play for it real quick and you'll see what I mean. All right, so that sounds like it's just crazy, pure craziness, but there is a couple of definitive patterns that he's playing there. So let's start here. We're going to do the big stretch. That's got the 21st fret with my pinky there. Then pull off to the 17th fret, which I'm playing with my middle finger, and pull off to the index finger at the 14th. So we have this. So you pull off those 3 notes, hammer back on the 17th fret, and pull back off to 14. You can pick that 17 when you pull off too. It's like, all right, so that is the pattern that we're going to descend with. Now we did it once on the high E string. And here, once again, this symmetrical stuff, just the same exact frets, just over on the B string, and that same lick now done twice. See how I'm good? All right, now the same thing twice on the G string. Twice on the D, and then once on the A. So we have this. Pretty fun stuff as soon as you get it down. Just, you got to really lower that thumb, low on the neck. All right, now the ascending lick is going to be hammering on 14, 17, 21 on the low E, and then the same thing on the A. And then now starting on the A string, the same lick. And then starting on the D, the same lick. And then starting on the G string, the same lick. So it's just like a 2-string lick. And then at the last one, just going to do this. 14, 17 on the B string to 14 on the high E. Pull back off 17, 14, and then, and that's just going to slide all the way to the 22nd fret and a little bend there on the low E. So coming from here. Then we're back to that riff. All right, from there we get to Marty Friedman's last little solo spot, which looks like this. All right, so a lot of fun stuff there. Now this part right here is, I just kind of alternate pick it. So it's just starting here on the 9th fret on the B, then 12, 10, 9. Over to 11 on the G, then 10, 9 on the B, then 11, 9 on the G. Now jump over, that's the hard part. You're playing your first finger and you got to jump over to the 10th fret on the high E string. And then 10 on the high E, and then 14, 12, 10 on the B, to 13 on the G. So we have this. All right, now we have 14, 10 on the high E, then scoot that down 1 fret, 13, 9. And then shift back up to the 10th fret here on the high E and play 10 to 13 on the B. 10 on the high E, 13 on the B, and then end it with that 14, 10 on the B. So we have this. Now when you get there, start doing some slight little trill between 10 and 14, and then do the same thing. Slide up to the 14th fret on the high E, and then do a trill between 14 and 18th fret. All together. All right, now we get to kind of really a bluesy lick. So let's just start with a bend at the 17th fret, and then 14 on the high E. Pull off 17, 14 on the B, over to 16 on the G. And it's really just kind of like standard. He's just pulling off and then going back up with the hammer on 14, 17. Well, sometimes he'll stop it with, he does that 17, 19 a couple times over here. You'll hear that when it slows down just a bit, it's just he's playing 17, 19 instead of going up there. And then you're going to end that with the 17th fret on the G string. So just kind of do a fast blues like. Back to that riff, and now we've made it to the final solo. I think this is solo number 86 in the song. So it's pretty ridiculous. So let's get here. This is Dave Mustaine, another symmetrical lick. Pattern just kind of moved up, and I'll play it real quick and I'll show you what's going on. So here we go. Alright, so what is going on there? Now, it's just the same lick that's taken up 3 frets at a time until it gets up to the high bend. So we're just going to start here. Now, he doesn't pick every single one of these notes, and I'm playing it also, all the notes with like 1, 3, and 4. He actually plays it, he feels more comfortable playing it with these 3 fingers. But I'm just going to use my pinky or whatever. So we have, so 4, 5, 4, 2, and then play 4, 2 on the high E, and then 5, 4, 2 on the B. So we have this. Now you can see you can kind of do a pull off there. But picking every note, it's a little awkward. So if you go kind of find some places that you like to do, it's kind of just a winging it type of thing. So when you're doing that, now just move it up, everything up 3 frets. So I'm kind of really spotting where my pinky's at each time. So 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23. So that exact same lick, but once again, he uses these fingers. All right, so that exact same lick we did, just work on it in one spot. And then work on just eyeballing it 3 frets up at a time on the fretboard. And then we get to this. So he's basically just sliding up after he gets up here. It just goes back down and just slides all the way up the high E string while he's tremolo picking into a whole step bend at the 24th fret on the high E string. Then he starts doing the bends faster. Then hold the bend and tremolo pick. Into the power chord there, the 3rd fret on the low E, and then same riff, and then end it with the 2nd fret power chord. All right, so that is a pretty epic song. So if you can get all the way through that, that is quite the accomplishment. So good luck with it, and I'll see you soon with more Megadeth.